Once again, thanks to all of you taking part in the fan walk, but all good things must come to an end, and we must ask you to begin making your way back behind the pit wall, please. Fine folks here from the Speedway in the yellow shirts will be happy to direct you in the correct direction. But again, we do need you to clear the grid, please, so we can make ready for our opening ceremony. Thanks again for taking part in the fan walk, and if you're here tomorrow, plan to do it again about the same time. Watch yourselves, folks. Safety car coming through. Welcome to the World Center of Racing, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, as we welcome all of you joining us here at the track and everyone joining us on the stream, as we're so happy to have you at youtube.com/SpeedTour TV, as we're kicking off the opening ceremonies for our first Formula Regional Americas race of the weekend. If you would please rise if you're able and remove your cover for our invocation delivered by Landon Matriano Lyn.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful day and the opportunity to be here at the racing capital of the world. We could not be here without you today, along with all the support from our friends and family and all the staff and crew who make this possible. We are all here surrounded by what we love. We're all here to have a wonderful time today, full of good, hard competition. Lord, I pray that you watch over us, help keep everyone safe today, and help us to remember our true purpose and give glory to you in everything that we do. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Landon. And now for our national anthem, can I introduce Eric Whitnable?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Eric Whitnable, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, sir. Drivers, to your cars, please. Drivers, to your cars at this time. It is now my honor to introduce our Grand Marshal. We have just a few minutes to fill while the drivers are getting ready. I don't think there's a race fan alive who doesn't know who Lyn St. James is, and we are so glad to have you with us on the anniversary of your 50th year doing racing. Amazing.
Well, it's always a joy and a pleasure and an honor to be at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but to be able to see the fans have always loved coming here, but I think to be able to see these future professional race car drivers that have careers ahead of them, and to see the fans engage with new drivers, and it's just it's really just a special moment. Really, it is. And 50 years, I don't know. I don't like to talk about it, but I guess you only have a 50th anniversary once in your career, right? And this is mine.
Exactly. Of course, you were the Rookie of the Year here in 1992, if memory serves. You qualified for the race 7 times, top finish of 6th. Am I right?
Top qualifying of 6th, finishing of 11th. You had me thinking for a minute, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Outside second row. That sounds so much better than just 6th.
Exactly. And of course, you've won Daytona twice. You've won Sebring. You were in 50-some Trans Am races, over 60 IMSA races with like 6 wins. You've had a career.
I've been very blessed to be in a lot of great race cars with a lot of great race car teams, a lot of great team owners and crew members. It's all about the people. No matter, as drivers, we always think it's always about getting the best car, right? But it's really about working with the best people and getting the best out of them and having them hope that they get the best out of you. And you build on that. And that's where I've been really fortunate to have is people that believed in me and gave me the best they could and helped me better. And I continue to try to help make others be better by sharing my knowledge and experience. It still has some relativity, but to bring other women and other experts, we need allies. We need everybody on the same page to help grow our sport, and that's what's happening, and it's just fantastic to be a part of it.
Let's talk a little bit about WMNA that you founded with Beth Peretta, and Kim McCullough is one of your board members. She's part of our staff as well. I think, as we said off mic earlier, the timing is just right for all these women getting into motorsports.
It is. There have really been a lot of women very successful in motorsports for a long time. I mean, Kim McCullough did have a great career, but she always either sat behind the desk or hid behind, the work that she did. And what we're trying to do with Women in Motorsports North America, WMNA, is to bring these women out and to be able to let them be role models to show what's possible. And that's happening all over the country. It's happening at racetracks. It's happening at sanctioning bodies. It's happening everywhere. And it is now is the time. I mean, I think people want this sport to grow. The more women we can bring in and the more diversity, then the more the sport is going to grow, or the more the industry's going to, the fans are going to love it, sponsors are going to want to be a part of it, and it's going to be how the sport grows.
Have you worked with Susie Wolf at all with the Formula One Academy?
Actually, I have. I met Susie 20 years ago when she was one of the top female race car drivers in Formula cars. and I've watched her progress as she went through into sports cars and all that. So we didn't necessarily stay in touch, but obviously now that she's heading up the F1 Academy, we are working together to try to make sure that we can bring more of the American drivers, young American drivers, give them the opportunity to go over and run in the F1 Academy.
And speaking of WIMNA, the Drivers Summit coming up in December right here in Indianapolis, I understand.
You're giving me a chance to promote. Yes.
I'm doing my best.
On December 9, 10, and 11, we'll have our Women in Motorsports Women with Drive Summit, hosted by, it's driven by Mobile One and hosted by Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the PRI show. It's part of that. So
I was going to say that sounds to me like it coincides with PRI.
it's perfect timing. The industry, again, talking about the industry, the timing, the PRI wants us to be a part of their organization and their event, and that's what everybody in the industry is in Indianapolis, so we're going to be a part of that. And we're going to have a breakfast at the Brickyard so that I found out that they don't turn the heat on in December around here, so we wanted to make sure that we could get here, and then we'll go back down to the convention center.
Okay, I'm going to pull a Dave Despain on you. You're looking over your career, racing or otherwise. What are you most proud of?
That I'm still here and that people care. Thank you.
Lyn St. James, ladies and gentlemen, our Grand Marshal. She'll have the most famous words in motorsports in just a few minutes as we're counting down to get this show underway. It is time to get the show on the road with the most famous words in all of sport, not just motorsports. Once again, our Grand Marshal, Lyn St. James.
Drivers, start your engines!
Well done, Lyn. Thank you so much. I'm going to make my way up to the commentary position. We'll join you on the stream as our first race of the weekend just about to get underway. As I've taken my position here in the pagoda overlooking the Yard of Bricks, let's introduce the starting grid officially as they make their way around the track for their formation lap. Again, we do a Formula One style standing start. Starting on the outside of row 7, the 07 of Anthony Autilio out of Cranston, Rhode Island for Momentum Motorsports. Next to him, the other Masters competitor in the field, Car number 24 is Kevin Jansen from Deerfield Beach, Florida. Kevin sponsored by U.S. Power Group and Data Center Solutions for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. In row 6, car 77, James Lawley from Halifax, Canada, for the Kart Bond Racing sponsored team at Atlantic Racing. Next to him, car number 17, Justin Garrett from Miami, Florida, for the Speed Factory. In row 5 on the outside, car number 25, Rico Slauman from Los Angeles, California, for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. Next to him, the only female in the field, car number 6, Nicole Haverda from Courtenay, British Columbia. She's sponsored by Valley Kitchens and Colonial Countertops for Crosslink Kiwi. In row 4, we affectionately call it the Louisiana fourth row, is car number 73, Landon Matriano Lim, who delivered our invocation. He's from Shreveport, Louisiana, sponsored by 739 Racing for Crosslink Kiwi. And alongside him, the number 22 of Hayden Bowlesby from Folsom, Louisiana, for IGY6 Motorsports, sponsored by Save 22. In row 3 on the outside, car number 02 is Jet Bowling from Dallas, Texas, for Crosslink Kiwi. And next to him, on debut this weekend, car number 1, Theodore Jensen from Randers in Denmark, for Jensen Global Advisors. In row 2, car number 55, Nico Ambiato from Santiago, Chile. Nico for the T-Link Allegro-sponsored machine for Velox USA and the Speed Factory. Next to him, car number 31 is Titus Sherlock from Prosper, Texas. Titus drives for Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports. And on the front row, car number 66, Ryan Shehan from Austin, Texas, for Crosslink Kiwi, and our pole sitter and the defending U.S. F4 champion, Patrick Woods-Toth from Saint-Lazare, Quebec, for Crosslink Kiwi. As the field rolling into position here in front of us, as the cars coming to a stop in their grid positions, crew members can coach their drivers into their grid box, and then they must vacate the pit wall. And the grid is full. Green lights will be illuminated on the starting box to indicate that the grid is ready. The light sequence will begin. 5 red lights counting down. And they are out, and we are away. And everybody gets away cleanly. No stalls on the front straight. That's good to see. And the 2 Crosslink Kiwi teammates go line astern as they head down toward turn number 1. Patrick Woods-Toth. And sweeping around the outside is Titus Sherlock. Titus said he was going to try to get a good start, as he's got his 2 teammates right in front of him, Ryan Sheehan and Woods-Toth. Theodore Jensen right behind in that number 1, making his first start as they sweep through turn 4 for the first time. Getting through this really quick chicane at 4 and 5 onto the Holman Straight. And coming up on another great passing opportunity. As you see the speed shot as they come under the walkover bridge. And then right down into turn 7. Side by side are Ryan Sheehan and Patrick Woods-Toth. Ryan, I believe, with the point now as they work their way through turns 8 and 9. Through the sweeping turn 10, and then it's foot to the floor all the way through this right-hand sweeper at turn 11, up onto the oval, and then a hard braking zone at turn 12 for the right-hander. And down they go. Jensen right in there. Landon Matriano Lim, or Nico Ambiato, excuse me, just behind him, as they work their way onto the front straightaway for the first time. Again, this is a timed race of 30 minutes duration. And across the stripe comes Patrick Woods-Toth as our leader. Ryan Sheehan in second. Titus Sherlock in third. Theodore Jensen in fourth. Ambiato, Jet Bowling, Landon Matriano Lim, Nicola Verda, Justin Garrett, and Rico Slauman in the final points-paying position. We use the FIA standard points table with 25 points for a win, 18 for second, 15 for third, all the way down to a single point for 10th place. There are no bonus points for leading laps or leading the most laps or pole. It's strictly finishing position to determine your points tally at the end of the season. In this championship, the top 9 drivers are awarded FIA Super License points, as if they make their plans to climb to the top step of the FIA Road to Formula One ladder. Those Super License points are very, very valuable. Woods-Toth beginning to put a little distance on his teammate, Ryan Sheehan. I joked with Patrick during the fan walk to talk about the kink at Road America, and he had 2 incidents there
that cost him the opportunity to score points in 2 of the 3 races at Road America from the lead, I might add. And I'm sure he has learned from that experience. Patrick is a protege of Ron Fellows, the Canadian driver of world renown, now one of the owners of Canadian Tire Motorsports Park that we're going to visit a little later this season. Ryan Shehan looking for a little fresh air. A good battle a little deeper in the pack. And that looks like Landon Montrano-Lim and Nicole Alverda going after it for 7th and 8th. As we stay with this battle for 3rd spot. And 4th, Theodore Jensen and Nico Ambiato. Jensen in the teal-colored and dark blue machine and the bright orange machine of Nico Ambiato. The T-Link Allegro sponsored car for USA Velox, as the 3 Crosslink Kiwi teammates still maintain the top 3 positions. There's Theodore Jensen as we solo with him, and Nico Ambiato just behind him. Nico from Chile, makes his home in Santiago, lives in the Miami area during the racing season here in this country. But that's a good battle for 3rd, separated by just about 4/10 of a second at the stripe. You will find these races, especially in the Formula Regional Americas Championship, a little tactical, as these drivers need to manage their tires, especially on a hot weekend like we've got here at Indianapolis. Temperatures going to be in the high 90s tomorrow. It's definitely contingent on these drivers to maintain the tires as best they can, because they have 2 full sets of tires, 2 sets of fronts, 2 sets of rears, that have to last them the entire weekend, starting with qualifying. So they've already had a session on these tires. And then the question then becomes, what happens as the weekend wears on? Do they go for new tires at the start of race 2, or do they save them for the final race? So the team's certainly coaching their drivers to do their best to keep the Hankook slicks under them. For those of you unfamiliar with our championship, these chassis are built by Ligier Automotive North America down in Denver, North Carolina. It's a full carbon fiber composite built to FIA Formula 3 specifications, and that includes all of the safety requirements for front and rear crash structures, side impact crash structures. There's Xylon panels on the side pods of these cars to protect the drivers. As you can see, they have the Halo cockpit protection device. This was the first car in North America to adopt the Halo, as when this car made its debut back in 2018. And we're very proud to say that we were the first Formula Regional Championship worldwide, and we have continued unabated since then. The top 2 pulling away just a little bit from the 3rd place runner. Ryan Shehan from 2nd place has just set fast lap of the race. So Ryan may be minding his tires just a bit and having something for his teammate, Patrick Woods-Toth. In the meantime, Titus Sherlock dropping a wheel off there at the exit of turn 3. As the battle we were following earlier between Jensen and Ambiato continues to be a good one. As they make their way through the chicane there at turns 5 and 6. Our 2 leaders, then Titus Sherlock, and then a little bit of a gap. At the line, it was about 2 seconds back to Theodore Jensen. And right behind Nico Ambiato is Jet Bowling in the 02 car for Crosslink Kiwi. There's our leader, Patrick Woods-Toth, in the number 27. He's bilingual, obviously, growing up in Quebec. He speaks French as well as English. And won the Radford Racing Karts to Car Scholarship to take part in our F4 championship a year ago. He wasn't even sure at the start of the season whether or not he would have a ride in go-karting, much less in full-size race cars. He thought he'd have another year of go-karting, but ended up having the opportunity to win that scholarship and come into the F4 U.S. series, and he won it. 4 wins and 10 podiums. He's a driver who is pretty heady. My experience has been that he's not a win it or bin it sort of driver. He's very tactical. He's willing to do what he needs to do to keep the car under him. And if he's got a second-place car or a third-place car, then that's good enough, you know. It's the consistency that wins championships. And last year was a good one. It went right down to the last weekend of racing. As his teammate Ryan Shehan, who is second to him right now, was the vice champion a year ago. Titus Sherlock, who's running third right now, was the vice champion of the F4 championship a year ago. And he took the opportunity to step up to the Formula Regional Americas Championship with our powerhouse team, the Crosslink Kiwi Motorsports, 8 of the 14 drivers. As Kevin Jansen looks to be going slowly. James Lawley, unfortunately, has a transponder issue. The car is not tripping, timing, and scoring. And the same with Hayden Bowlesby, I believe. Getting some word that there may be a loose rear wing on Titus Sherlock's car, number 31. He's our third-place runner. Race control says the corner workers have noticed that that wing may not be secured. And if that's the case, he will be required to make a stop. But it's obviously going to cost him some downforce, and that is a penalty in its own, but they certainly don't want that wing to come detached and create a hazard for some of the other drivers. But at the moment, it looks like he's good. Titus, another Texan from the field, from Prosper, Texas. He's a 19-year-old. He won last season at New Jersey Motorsports Park and at Circuit of the Americas in the F4 championship. And again, as I mentioned, he finished second in that championship with 2 wins and 2 other podiums. Difficult to tell from our camera angle, but I don't think there's any obvious issues. But like I say, the corner workers, always eagle-eyed, did spot that and have reported it to race control. So they'll keep close eye on it. If it appears to be secure, they'll let him race. As he's got about a 3.7 second advantage over Theodore Jensen, who's in his own battle with Nico Ambiato. Just about a second separates those two. Jet Bowling, though, is making that a 3-way battle. This is the battle for 4th place. Our race director, Scott Goodyear, in radio communication with the team, asking them to have a look at that car and talk to their driver on the radio to see if there is any indication of an issue. We go back to our 4th place runner, Theodore Jensen, in that blue multicolored car. Right behind him, Nico Ambiato, the Chilean, and then right behind him, Jet Bowling in the 02 for Crosslink Kiwi. There's Sherlock. Here comes Theodore Jensen. There's Ambiato, and there is Jet Bowling. So Bowling closing the gap now. It was down to just about half a second a lap ago. It's ballooned back out to about a full second now. But Theodore Jensen, very impressive here in his first race with us. Running strongly in 4th position. I had a chance to chat with his team owner, Eric Jensen, by the way, no relation. And he has had a chance to do some testing with this young driver and was quite impressed with him. Theodore, unlike most of these drivers, did not come up through go-karting. He jumped right into the Danish F4 Championship in his native Denmark and had great success. 5 wins, 2 podiums in Danish F4. He's currently running in the 2024 Euro Cup Formula 3 Series. But came into car racing in 2022 with no karting, and that's really an unusual aspect. So it indicates that this young man's got some pretty good natural talent. We are getting word now that Titus Sherlock's crew is going to call him into the pits, so he's going to retire from 3rd spot so that they can make sure that wing is secure. As the corner marshals have indeed continued to report that wing appears to be loose and they don't want it to come detached, especially on the high-speed portions of this racetrack. So the Crosslink Kiwi crew will be standing by. Pit stops, of course, are not part of the plan. Only 3 members of the crew are permitted over the pit wall to work on the car at any one time. And Titus apparently got the message, and he's going to not peel off into pit lane. He's going to stay out. And yeah, from that angle, you can see that wing is sort of down on the left-hand side. It looks like one of the end plates may have become detached or has become loose. And it is definitely not horizontal. It is at an angle, and that's going to create a problem. It's obviously a problem that's self-limiting. It's going to limit Titus's ability to keep the car on track and generate the kind of downforce that these cars are capable of. But the concern that the race director has communicated to the crew is that if that wing comes loose, it definitely could create a hazard for some following drivers. Theodore Jensen, though, is some 6 seconds behind this third place battle. As you can see, that interval between third and fourth is about the length of the Holman straightaway. Apparently we're getting word from the folks down on pit lane is that Titus's radio is apparently not working. Oh, and we've got a spinner at turn number 1, and I believe that's Otillo. Yeah, that's Anthony Otillo, who's had a loop there at the end of the front straightaway, but looks like he's gotten it pointed the right direction, and he has continued. He's currently running in 11th position, but I believe Kevin Jansen will have gotten by him to take over that 11th spot. And Titus finally gets the message and has come into the pit lane. So that's going to promote Theodore Jensen to the podium in his first race with us. If he can maintain that position. The car pulls in, pit crew immediately goes to work. Meanwhile, back at the front, Patrick Woods-Toth, your leader, by just under 2 seconds, last time by the stripe, working his way through turn number 4 just now. Ryan Shehan just set his personal best on that last lap, a 23.8. Woods-Toth was at a 23.9, so they're within a tenth of each other. So no big changes in that lead interval. But now the battle that we've been watching between Jensen, Ambiato, and Bowling is a battle for a podium position. Working through 8 and 9. We're halfway home down the 30-minute race. There's the Crosslink Kiwi crew going to work. You can see they're working on the left-hand side of that wing where we saw that it seemed to have come detached. Looks like they've got it reaffixed, and they're going to send Titus on his way. And unfortunately, he's going to go a lap down for those repairs. This is not quite like Formula One where you have a 2.5 second pit stop to replace 4 tires. Unfortunately, these cars not designed for routine pit stops. And here come the leaders. And yeah, sadly, he is going to go a lap down. So that's a tough break for Titus after a good qualifying performance. Interestingly, it looks like he's going to slot into the track about where he would normally be. But unfortunately, he's about a lap down. So Theodore Jensen up onto the podium now as it stands with this race about half gone. He's 11.5 seconds behind second place running Ryan Shehan. Jensen's last lap was a 25.1. Shehan and Woods-Toth lapping in the high 23s. So Theodore not able to match the leader's pace at this point in time, but the race is only halfway gone. And as we said, on this hot day, and temperatures in the 90s here in Indianapolis, those tires can begin to show their age. This is a great battle now for third, fourth, and fifth, with Theodore keeping a good head about him. Nico Ambiato also has had some good success racing in his native Chile. He has multiple karting titles in South America. He also competed in the 2023 Formula Pro USA Winter Series, had a pair of wins there. So he certainly has the pedigree. Jet Bowling in the 02 car out of Dallas, Texas for Crosslink Kiwi. His best finish a year ago in F4 was 10th at VIR. He also raced in the Formula Pro USA Winter Series. Had 2 wins there in 2 starts. He's a freshman at Texas A&M studying engineering. This is easily the best battle on the racetrack. These 3 drivers separated by just over a second. one of the things about these Formula Regional Americas cars, they do generate significantly more downforce than their F4 USA counterparts. This is a completely different chassis. The original concept of the Formula Regional Championship was that they would just basically bolt bigger wings onto the F4 car and put the turbocharger on the motor and basically turn it into an F3 car. But once they did some mule testing with a mule car with that car, they realized that the performance potential of the car was so much greater that that takes it to another echelon of safety requirements to satisfy the FIA regulations. So they scrapped that plan and started with a clean sheet of paper for this car. As we mentioned, BJ Automotive North America was instrumental in the development of the specification for this car, as they worked closely with the FIA to make sure it met all of the FIA requirements. And those learnings were applied to the final specification that the Formula Regional Championships around the world still adhere to. But look at this great battle for the final step on the podium. The point I was trying to make about the whole aerodynamics distance is that the more downforce a car generates, the more difficult it is to follow closely, as the disturbed air coming out of that diffuser and the rear wing creates a lack of downforce for the following car, and they'll have understeer and premature front tire wear as the car will be sliding more. So the drivers have to be very, very tactical as to where they make their passes, as it can't be a tuck under the gearbox and hope for the best kind of situation. They really need to plan ahead, and that's what this championship is all about. It's the next step on the ladder for these youngsters to learn their racecraft, learn what it's like to drive a high downforce race car. And these cars are significantly quicker than the F4 cars. The F4 car, even the new F4 car, which we just debuted this season, the Ligier JS F422, is depending on the track about 5 to 6 to 8 seconds a lap slower than this car. It has a less powerful motor, of course, but the big change is the downforce, as the wings at both ends of this car are significantly bigger. And there's a huge diffuser at the back of this car that helps accelerate that air under the car, which generates that negative pressure zone that creates the ground effect, if you will, that sucks the car down to the ground, using the atmospheric pressure to generate more traction so the car can corner more acutely. But obviously that comes with a penalty because it generates more drag as the car has to push that aerodynamic apparatus through the air, and that robs it of some straight line speed. Theodore Jensen, though, feeling the pressure from behind, just as it looked like Ambiato was mounting a challenge. Looks like Jensen's been able to turn up the wick just a little bit. We're watching the 24 of Kevin Jansen. Go back to our leader, our lead duo, should we say, Ryan Shehan with the red highlights on the wing, Woods-Toth with the all-black livery. Ryan ran a totally gold race car a year ago, which made him really easy to pick out of the crowd. There's Landon Matriano-Lim with Justin Garrett just behind him and Rico Slauman just behind him. So we've got another great three-way battle. This is for 7th, 8th, and 9th position. 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'll get it right. Then Matriano-Lim delivered our invocation at our opening ceremonies. He's a very loquacious youngster from Shreveport. Last year in the F4 Championship, he won the Omologato Perfectly Timed Pass Award. It's a new award that we award to the driver who has made up the most positions from his starting position to his finishing position over the course of the season. And Landon did that, some 60 overtakes over the course of the year, and he won that award, and interestingly never scored a point in the entire, never scored in the top 10 in the entire season, but yet made the most overtakes. So didn't have the car under him to, qualify far enough up the order, but he certainly showed that he had the racecraft to make some passes. And good on him as we turn back to this battle for the final step on the podium. Theodore Jensen. Oh, and it looks like a little bobble for Nico Ambiato, and that's opened the door for Jet Bowling to draft past him in the run down toward turn 12. And that's it. We have a new fourth place runner. And you can see these cars really struggling for traction. It's just a little bit of a bobble there as they come to the line. There is Jensen, now the 0-2 of Bowling. Then Nico Ambiato back to fifth. Ambiato's car just suddenly slowed there in the run up toward turn 10. I don't know whether he missed a shift. These cars have a Sadev sequential 6-speed gearbox. Paddle shifters on the wheel, of course. It is pneumatically actuated. I mean, it's possible, as with any sequential gearbox, to get a false neutral or something like that. So that's just conjecture on my part, but potentially could be the problem. As we go back to the lead battle now between Woods-Toth and Ryan Shehan, Patrick has been able to open up about a 1.5 second advantage over his teammate as they drop down into turn 12. Now the left-hander at 13, and then, like I say, it's a flat to the floor affair from this point forward to the end of the front straightaway as they come right out to the edge of the track, using up all of the radius of that final turn. Just about 6 minutes remain in this one. As we watch Ryan Shehan negotiate the first couple of turns. Right out to the edge of the Gator's Teeth. Track limits are watched by race control, and these drivers can be penalized if they exceed track limits. That's basically all four wheels off the racing surface. You can have your outside wheels up on the curbing, but if you get all four wheels outside the white line, which demarcates the edge of the track, then penalties can be assessed. Either time penalties or grid penalties for the next race. Checking lap times, Woods-Toth's last lap was a 24 flat. Ryan Shehan marginally quicker at a 23.7. So Woods-Toth may well be in management mode, realizing he's got a reasonably comfortable lead. Just under 5 minutes remain in this one. As the clock counts down, we'll see the white flag when there is less than a minute and a half remaining, thereabouts. But look at the lead these gentlemen have built up over Theodore Jensen, who's had a battle of his own with the retirement of Titus Sherlock. Titus outside the points peg positions in 12th, unfortunately a lap down. Theodore Jensen just now coming by with Jet Bowling right on his heels. So Bowling is acting like he would like to have in that third place spot. So we'll keep an eye on the 0-2 of Jet Bowling running in fourth. Closing down on Theodore Jensen, trying to pull the trigger here. Nico Ambiato, after losing that spot, is about 2 seconds up the road in fifth. We'll keep an eye on this lead battle. Once again, Landon Montriano Lim with Rico Slauman and Nicola Verda. And Verda gets around Rico Slauman to move up into 8th position. So Nicola Verda moving up one spot. She qualified in 9th position, so she's up one from where she qualified. Now the battle for the final step on the podium. As Theodore Jensen has got Jet Bowling filling his mirrors now with about 3.5 minutes remaining. Bowling gets a great run out of turn 11, or through turn 11, down into turn 12. Jensen having to be a little defensive with his line. That's going to cost him some exit speed, and this is a very important corner because it leads onto this long straightaway. And Bowling is right there. Notice how he offsets the car a little bit, trying to keep air on that front wing, so he's still got some traction. Now he can tuck into the draft and get just as close as he dares. And then when he gets to the end of the straightaway, he might pop out and make a move. He's going to have about 2 laps to do it. We haven't seen the white yet. We might see it next time. There he goes, trying to go a little deeper on the brakes, but Jensen's able to hold him off. And we're getting confirmation from timing and scoring that we will see the white flag next time by. Jet Bowling looking for a podium. It would be his first if he's able to do so. His best finish so far this season has been a pair of fifths at New Orleans, Louisiana. Here he comes down into turn 7. Another great passing opportunity. And they've got some traffic in front of them. That's Kevin Jansen about to go a lap down. So let's see. The traffic can sometimes be an advantage for the leading car, but sometimes for the following car. Here they come. Bowling gets a good run. Here he is through turn 11. This is where he was really strong a lap ago. Once again, offsetting the car a little bit, getting some air on the nose. Jensen has to be a bit defensive. That should give Bowling another good run here. White flag is in the air as our leaders come by. Oh, right out to the edge goes Theodore Jensen as he carried a little too much speed. He kept it off the wall, but now they are side by side. This is the battle for the final step on the podium. They've got traffic in front. Jensen trying to throw the block as Jet Bowling tries to get alongside on the final lap here. And again, Kevin Jansen just in front of them. Not a part of this battle, but certainly can play a part. Jansen being a good sportsman and letting these two come through. But that definitely cost Bowling a little exit speed, so he has lost some ground. And that little encounter there with the lap traffic may have been all that Theodore Jensen needed. But boy, he came close to kissing the wall coming onto the front straightaway. There they go through turn number 7. They've just got the little chicane at 8 and 9. All the while, our leaders coming onto the front straightaway. Patrick Woods-Toth, win number 3 on the season, will retake the points lead. His teammate Ryan Shehan finishing in second spot. But now let's see that battle for third as they come into turn 12 for the final time at speed. Bowling not as close as he was a lap ago, but this is where Jensen made that mistake. And again, it might have been traffic related, but he was just a little bit too wide coming off of this turn and got right up against the wall. Once again, just a little wiggle as he's trying to use all the track. Bowling hard on the accelerator, but he can't quite catch him. Theodore Jensen on the podium in his first race. What a great debut for this youngster from Denmark. Jet Bowling finishing 4th. Still waiting for Nico Ambiato. There he is across the line. He'll finish in 5th position. 6th goes to Justin Garrett. 7th to Landon Matriano Lyn. Nicola Verda hangs on for an 8th place finish. Rico Slauman finishing in 9th spot. Anthony Autilio, despite his spin, is able to hold off the challenge from Kevin Jansen, and he will take the Masters win for this race. Titus Sherlock finishing a lap down to the leaders in 12th position. Hayden Bowlesby and James Lawley, both with issues with their transponder, will be scored 13th and 14th. I'm going to say goodbye to the stream for a moment because I have to run downstairs to the podium to officiate that. But we will be back with you with our next race coming up in just about 10 minutes' time. And that is for groups SVRA groups 1, 3, and 4, scheduled to take the green at 1:50. So enjoy the stream. We'll be back with you at 1:50 or shortly thereafter as I finish up the podium ceremonies for Formula Region America's round number 7 on the season. obviously there was a little trouble in front of you, which gave you that, but you had all you could handle, which come to the line.
Yeah, it was a tough race, but big gap I think to the P2, but yeah, did what I could.
On the white flag lap, it looks like you almost brushed the wall coming onto the front straightaway.
Yeah, the 2 laps left, I had crazy overs the end. The last corner almost touched the wall, but close one. But
anybody you'd like to thank for your first ever podium?
Yes, thank you to Jensen, Eric, and for a good job, and also my coach Bailey. So, yeah.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
Podium all day here, ladies and gentlemen. Theodore Jensen. Let's bring up our second place finisher. He now has 3 podiums and a win this year, Lyn St. Congratulations. It looked to me at the end that he was fading a little bit and you were gaining on him.
Yeah, I think we kind of swapped places throughout the race. I think I was a bit quicker at the start, and then he pulled away a bit, and then at the end started to catch back up. But yeah, it was a good race overall. Just managing a lot of things, engine temps, tires, all of that. So happy with the second.
Anybody to thank?
Yeah, the whole Crossing Kiwi team, my parents, my sponsors, Sawbelt, Harrison Noel, Goose Creek. Big thanks to them.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Second place finish for Lyn St, ladies and gentlemen. Now with 2 podiums and 3 wins on the season, your new points leader, Patrick Woods-Toth. Oh, you're going to make me do that. Okay, that's fine. Patrick, it was a good one. It looked like you controlled the pace most of the way, but as I was telling Ryan, it looked like you were having a little trouble at the end.
Yeah, we just had to manage the tires and the engine. It's really hot, so everything's just fading away as you drive.
But Ryan gave me a hard battle the whole time, keeping me on my toes, and couldn't relax for the whole 35 minutes. I was sweating a lot, but luckily we came in with the win, so good day.
Those of you from north of the border probably aren't used to this heat, right?
Well, it's hot there like this now, but yeah, I'm used to the cold weather for sure.
Anybody to thank?
Yes, of course. Crossing Kiwi, we've had a great car all season so far, and they've been working really hard, staying late, making seats and everything. So thank you to them, and of course my sponsors, Orlando, FSMQ, Ron Fellows, and all my family and friends back home.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, your new points leader, Patrick Woods-Toth. We now begin the part of the podium celebration that we affectionately call the hat dance, as we want to get photos for all of our sponsors. The drivers with Ligier hats on as they approach the podium. Now we thank Hankook, our tire supplier. Danny Von Dongen, the man who runs Hankook North America, keeps it happening. And we thank him for all the hard work he does. Okay, folks, time for the champagne celebration. It's actually sparkling water. Not all these drivers are 21. Let's have one more round of applause for Theodore Jensen, Lyn St, and Patrick Woods-Toth.